Hey guys, how you all doing? So here we are, Tuesday yet again. Big difference between. Turn that light on behind. Doesn't seem like a very good picture. Yeah, that's a bit better. Isn't it? Yeah, big difference between now and last week is it's just white everywhere. There's lots of snow. So yeah. Anyway, who we got in here? Phil Dodge Fury, all the way from Australia. Welcome along, Josh Homan. Good to have you here. Roy Miller, Tavo, of course, is here. Another Australian. Jeff Hutchins, Mexican Spec. How you doing, bud? Good to have you here. Jeff Hutchins, I know Kiwi is a bird. This is true. Danny Boyd, hey man, welcome along. David Tyree, welcome along. Beagle Bob, of course. Have the bourbon in hand, good man. Paul Funk, good evening, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, sir. Thanks for reminding them. It does help. It really does. Steve Sadusky, welcome along. So we have all the usual suspects in the room. What's been happening, guys? It's all been about the weather, hasn't it? All been about the snow. Well, it certainly has been here. Man, my glasses. I think I've bent my glasses today. Yeah, the weather has been pretty miserable. I couldn't even work yesterday. I had I could get to the shop, but there was no power. The power was out like all day, and like sometime in the middle of the night, the power came back on. So Monday was a bust. Today was another day. Yeah. Paul. Who else have we got here? Robert Beckler hit it twice. There you go. Beagle Bob, I saw Marge got frosted tips. Yes, he did. Yeah, I thought it was quite a cool little picture, though. So, yeah. Some long icicles hanging on the old girl. Tavo, snow. I wish for snow. Yeah, you're doing it pretty hot over there, aren't you? I saw some guy post something up, and it was 40-something outside. Like mid 40s and Celsius, and 55 inside his workshop. So, yeah. Steve Sadusky, the $60,000 question is, where's Kev? Actually, he's in the office. He's in the other room. So he's lurking. He's lurking, but I should have brought him out. Mexican Spec Tabo, do you ever get snow? I don't think so where he is, man. I don't think so. Something in my mouth. I think I have Danny Boyd. I think I have an ice dam on my roof leaking inside. Oh no! Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Tavo having a bit of a reprieve today. Only forecast for 38. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot with the swamp cooler, man. Yeah. How well does the swamp cooler work, Tavo? What does it get it down to inside? Charles Dalton, for weather, we just got about 10 inches of snow. No ice, no high winds. Feeling lucky, to be honest. Yeah, that's doable. We had a lot of ice here. A lot of trees came down with the weight of the ice. A lot of trees. A lot of cleanup to be done. Fortunately, none of our we lost a couple of little twiggy type branches, but that was about it. Some impressive cracks from the trees around the place, nearby, as limbs were breaking off. But yeah. As soon as a little bit of a breeze came up, then the cracking started. Tavo, Mexican Spec, not where I am, but we do about 800 kilometres away to the east. Yeah, well, that's a wee way, isn't it? 800, what's that? 500 miles. Yep. So, 500 miles, that's a drive, man. That's a drive. Steve Sadusky, I hit the like button, I promise. Good man. Good man. Let me just do the live chat button. Make sure we get everyone. Jeff Hutchins, my garage roof caved in from the snow here in Oregon about 15 years ago. Okay. Well, I hope there was no cars inside that got damaged, even 15 years ago. No, that would not be good. Robert Beckler hit 1 degree here today. T-shirt weather. Well, I'm not sure about that. Danny Boyd, my neighbour's garage here collapsed about 25 years ago. Wow. Tavo, if it's a crisp, dry heat, the swampy can get it very comfortable, but too much sun evaporates the water off the pads quicker than the pump replenishes it. Oh, okay. Huh. Still, I guess they're pretty cheap to run compared to AC. Yeah. Beagle Bob, I'd say the heat is worse than the cold. Yes, well, usually you can warm up, with enough layers of clothing, but it's you can only take so many clothes off in the summertime. If you don't mind getting arrested, maybe, but yeah. Steve Sadusky, I was in Minnesota yesterday. It was minus 13. It was about something like that here. It got down to single digits overnight last night. I think it was 7 or 8 degrees or something overnight. That's Fahrenheit. That's cold. Mexican speak, if you have thick blood, you can handle more of the cold. We don't have thick blood here, as my wife says. We have summer and summer in a sweater. Oh, very true. Gene Turner, it's 58 degrees in Santa Cruz, California. Nice. 58's, yes, you can. That's pretty easy to survive, isn't it? Old timer. Hi, Kiwi, I'm down with a stomach bug. Oh, that's no fun. No fun at all. Yeah. But you made it here, so that's cool. Thank you for coming along. Regardless, it is a lot better than just a fan on the floor or nothing. Well, yeah, I'm sure it is. No, I've got a swamp cooler in the shop, and it does make a difference. It just doesn't give you that icy cold that a good AC unit doing. But it's a blessing. It's like I couldn't do without it in the workshop. So I know exactly what you mean. And mine's only a fairly small one, just to roll around. Swamp cooler that's about 4 feet tall, I suppose. Josh Homan, good. Hopefully everyone else here is as well. Yep. Yeah, hopefully. I know I am. Steve-O's good. So cold my bourbon froze. That's cold. Yeah. Steve Sadusky, I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana now. It's 20 degrees. Feels like spring. You lie. Mostly old parts. Hey, folks. Hey, welcome along, man. Steve Sadusky, get well soon, old timer. Yeah, look after yourself, mate. That can be stomach bug can be fairly brutal if you get dehydrated. So just try and keep hydrated, mate. That's the trick. Chris Freemas is in the house. Good on you, man. Well, good to have you here. Danny Boyd, we actually got 17 degrees Fahrenheit here right now. Yeah, well, what have we got? I know it hit the high today was 31. Right now it's 27. The coldest it's going to get is 17 tonight. So yeah, it's warmed up considerably from the weekend. Now, Beagle Bob, I've gotten more done here at 20 than in Arizona at 120. Yeah, it's crippling, isn't it? You get 120, there's not much you can do. You certainly don't want to do anything either. Like in the shop with the heating, I only have it set at 60, 62. Because I just kind of get on with it, and actually not really work up a sweat, but work up a bit of body temperature, and it's quite nice, Mexican speak. I went to the doctor today and had the medicine. It will be a few days before I see improvement. Oh, you're not too well either, mate. That's no good. Now, snow crushing, -12 here tonight in Canada. Yeah, that's so cold. Oh, yeah. I mean, I do prefer the cold to the heat, but -12 is, that's cold. Mostly old parts. Kiwi Classics. What is your product of choice coating for the interior of frame rails on unibody cars when installing new floor pans and trunk floors? I fill it full of Worth. I use a Worth product, and it's cavity wax. And I just blast that everywhere. It creeps, which is good. It doesn't really dry out. It does get a little harder. It does get more wax-like, but it does flex a little. It doesn't seem to crack, and Worth is just good stuff. Not the cheapest, but it's good stuff. And, if you go into all that trouble of putting all that new metal in there, what's $100 worth of rust protection in the scheme of things? It's like you add in your hours and you add in your costs, and it's like, just you'd probably be struggling to spend $100 on it actually. But if you call it $100, so that's just part of the cost, and away you go. Paul Funk, what became of the 67 Marlin? Todd, I'm sure Todd will be in tonight, I would think. But he did get it. I know that. He did email me and say that he did actually have it there. He got it. So, yeah. So that's, a happy ending, so to speak. But, yeah, hopefully he'll be in tonight. He has been a bit under the weather too, so who knows? Jeff Hutchins, no car was in the garage. I sold the car, 78 Camaro, that was in there before the roof caved in. Wow, it's lucky. The BMW gets driven too much to be inside. I have all the trucks otherwise, and they won't fit in there. Yep. Tavo, the uneven ducting is an issue. Kitchen gets all the blast while lounge and bedrooms get a light breeze. Yeah. Yeah, well. It is what it is. Better than nothing by a long shot. Paul Funk, 35 here in Grand Junction. Yeah, well, I mean, at least it's above freezing. Chris Freemason, Mexican specs. I have it on good authority that Mexican Coke and chocolate churros will have you back to 100% health in a jiffy. Uh-huh. Whoop, that's a customer texting me. Let me just put that on silent. Right, now, where was I? Okay. Rice Man, hey, welcome along. Hey, Chris, this is Andy. I called you earlier. I have the Mac 1 with the subframe questions. Glad to have found you. Oh, yeah, cool. That's cool. Steve Sadusky, nice job on that 66 Kiwi. Yeah, it was a nice car, that. And, I went into quite a bit of detail with that steering box install. And it's one of those things, I don't think of it as being tricky, but if it's the first time you're doing one, it is a bit tricky, So I don't know. It seems to have done reasonably well, the video. So you guys seem to enjoy it, which is good. Hang on. I lost where I was up to. Wow. Okay, here we go. Mexican speak, the doctor gave antibiotics and an inhaler, they might work better. Oh, Volfly, hey, welcome along, man. Clinging to a square of chocolate. Sounds about right. Mexican spec. I saved a VW Combi that was made into a food truck that sells churros. That will be funny for our next live. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. Danny Boyd, my neighbour's garage contained an old Porsche, not sure of the model. Now a 96 Taurus SHO has been sitting there for 20 plus years. Wow. Rotting into the ground. Yeah, I bet it is. Danny Boyd, a tree has grown up, denting the drivers. Wow. Sure. When trees start growing into cars, they've been there a while. Rice Man, it's 45 today, dry and great when the sun is out for working in the garage. Yes. Yeah. A little bit of sun out, and it really makes a difference, doesn't it? We had a bit of sun here today. It was quite nice. Jeff Hutchins, mix spec, no snow, I'm guessing. No, that's a pretty good guess, mate. Charles Dalton, we've got minus 13 coming up for lows and wind chills in the 30 below range. Ow. Hope this stuff passes soon. Oh. Wind chills minus 30. Well, you've got to actually be a little bit careful in those sort of conditions, don't you? They can actually hurt you, can't it? I'm not really ever experienced it that cold. Mexican speak. The churro has become a mascot for my channel, apparently. It will be perfect to show that food truck. Yes, it will. Beagle Bob, I think Mr. Denier says he has a surgery for yesterday or today. Yeah, that's probably why he's not here. Yep. But he was, he's certainly very appreciative of you guys that chipped in to help him out, and he's got his dream car. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on with it, what he's going to do with it. So, time will tell. Driveway of misfits. Everybody needs to stop being under the weather. Well, this is true. I didn't know that. Mexican spec. It's spelt Combi. Volkswagen used the C for the Mexican ones and the K for the Brazilian ones. I didn't know that. In their advertisements, you mean? Yeah, no, I figured that's what you mean, yeah. Jeff Hutchin. Mexican Coke is the nectar of the gods. Yeah, well, it's, it depends what sort of Coke you're talking about, I guess, really. The kind you drink, I'm sure you're talking about. Dean Stevenson, Mr. Kiwi, Mexican spec. Oh, here we go. There's another. Dean's back on with his acronyms. DWOMFS. Pass. Don't know what that means. I don't have the brain capacity tonight to actually. I'm a bit tired tonight. Been a long day. Took the wife out. No, not this morning. Was it? No, I just had Yeah, a little bit of a rough night. Yesterday morning, I was up bright and early, taking the wife to the airport in the icy conditions. Yeah. Vilefly, I'm still fighting off that respiratory bug that's got around. Annoying congestion. Yes. Yes, I know what that's like. Chris Freemasser, I use the K because that's what the Germans use. Yeah, fair enough. Mexican spec. Chief Hutchins, it sure is. I take that medicine. Take the medicine daily in frozen form. There you go. Cheers. Beagle Bob. Well, yes, I think you need to fly about 40,000 feet to be above the weather. Yes, very true. Dean Pollard, welcome along. Good to have you here, man. Danny Boyd, why are you retracting all these messages? What are you up to? Tavo, K for Combi down under, Mexican speak, just how they did it. Fair enough. Chris Freemasson, then I should try a German-made combi instead of a Mexican-made combi. Yeah. Were the Mexican ones actually Mexican assembled, like built up in Mexico, or were they just imported? Gene Turner, looking forward to the sunbeam. Tony. Gene Turner, looking forward to the sunbeam. Tony. Not sure what you mean there. Hang on. Yeah, I'll shut down the page again. Not falling behind. Wow, I'm way behind. There we go. Mopar Man, hey, welcome along. Danny Boy, drank a Mexican Coke Sunday afternoon and a US Spec Coke today while shoveling snow. There you go. Oh, you never usually drink Coke unless it's with bourbon. Jeff Hutchins, been wet here in Western Oregon, cold but dry as a bone, not normal. Huh, interesting. Vilefly managed without medicine this time around. Last year he had walking pneumonia. Wow, that's brutal. And the K for Commonwealth combis. Lord D. Stevenson. Riceman, my son is at school in Sydney and tells me trucks are called utes. Is that the same for you Kiwis? Yes, it is. Yep. They indeed called utes, which is just short for utility vehicle. Which has kind of taken on now with SUVs being sport utility vehicles. But yeah, New Zealand and Australia was always utes. Mexican spec. Chris Freemasser, there is a 72 combi here, but it's not the best. I have it on my website, but didn't publish it. That is a good price, though. There you go. They fetch big money, don't they? It's crazy money. Mexican speaks. Trees don't give a crap about cars. They push through. Very true. Very true. Danny Boyd. I don't want to end up like Richard Pryor, Michael Jackson. Good Lord, no. Tavo, I need to go AWOL for a short while soon. Carer helper is on the way. Okay. All right. Well, just look after yourself, dude. Mexican spec. Those were different tests. I took the Pepsi challenge at a mall as a kid. I chose Coke. Wow, Mexican spec 65 here officially right now. That's toasty warm. Wow, that's nice. I'll leave the stream running in the background, of course. Well done. Well done. Dean Stevenson, try a lighter fluid next time, Danny Boyd stir. It was the Chinese pyrotechnics that got the white boy. Pepsi tastes of aluminum or some other metal. Okay. Gosh, I can't remember the last time I had a Pepsi. Paul Funk, minus 13. Your fingers and toes turn black and fall off. Well, they certainly can do. Mexican spec, Volfly. If you normally drink Coke, it does taste bad, especially in Mexico. RC Cola versus Coke was a hard choice. Yeah, I remember RC Cola. We had that in New Zealand. It wasn't wasn't big though. It wasn't a lot of it about, but it was around. Dean Stevenson. Alcoa aluminum tastes just like Man and Scania truck alloy wheels. When was the last time you tasted a Scania truck wheel? Danny Boyd. About 10 or 11 years ago, barbecue mishap shortened my eyelashes. Oops. So, lots of discussion about Coca-Cola. I see Cola, the AMC of the cola industries, Chris Freemy. So that's actually pretty funny. Jenny Boyd, RC isn't very sweet. Well, yep, the American palate, shall we say, is pretty sweet. Americans like sweet stuff. Possibly why RC wasn't the most popular cola. Mexican spec Shasta was right in there. Shasta. I've not heard of that one. Dean Stevenson, Tavo, make sure your high needs, treat him mean and keep him keen. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Andy Nicol, I thought Bolivian Coke was the best. Yeah, well, that's what I've heard. I would have no first-hand experience with that, of course, but that's what I've heard too. Too bad RC Cola is no longer around. Yeah, it's gone, isn't it? Gone the way of the dinosaurs. Danny Boyd, I did, however, see that the Stop and Go by my house sells Fago. They even had pineapple Fago. Another one I haven't heard of. Gosh, I must be living under a box. Dean Stevenson, Dan, I hope it hasn't hurt your youthful good looks. I'm sure it hasn't. Well, here we go. Chris Freemus, RC Cola is most certainly still around. A restaurant in Buffalo I was at over the summer serves it. Well, there you go. Huh. Mexican spec Volfly. Isn't that what they drink on Sleeper Dude channel at the end of every video? No idea. Danny Boyd, wasn't diet right? RC's Diet Cola. Yeah, I don't know. Matthew Smith, welcome along. I like the fitment of the floor pan on the F100. Fit pretty well, didn't it? It really did. I was pleasantly surprised. It made it a lot easier to do the install. The fact that you didn't have to really work it at all to get it in. It was No, that AMD, I mean, they have looked after me with a bit of stuff. I mean, I'll give you that, but that's not why I'm plugging them. The stuff is actually pretty good. Like that whole bed that me and Kevin Tates did, that just went together like just precision, man. I was, um, yeah, it was like it was almost too easy to be believable on a video. We kind of felt like it's like no one's really going to buy this. Like they're just going to think we're saying it's this easy when it's really not. But it really was. They're actually just putting the time and effort into making the stuff good, and I think that's going to win them a lot of customers. Where did that go? Dean Stevenson. There you go. Wow. I thought I was catching up, but I wasn't. Dean Stevenson. Instead of VWs, people brought AMI Toyotas instead. What is an AMI Toyota? Robert Beckler, let them do the banging to get it off. Save your energy. David Tyree, 23.72. That's a big swing. Wow, 50 degrees. That's a big swing in temperature. Mopar Man 78. We got the amazing blazing temperature of 36. Yeah, it's pretty cold. Tabo, Mexican speak, relaxed tariffs and too costly to update tooling for a small market. Gradually imported more and more parts, then shut down assembly for fully built imports. Yep, that's what happened. Mexican spec. Do the Australian-made Beetles have more value? That's a good question. Mopar Man, I drink Frosty brand soda bottle. There you go. Beagle Bob saw RC Cola in Georgia a couple of months ago. Obviously still around. I thought it was long gone. Back in the day, my dad drank Pepsi in the glass bottles, and it was so much better than in a can or a plastic bottle. Yep. I get that. No, I actually think you're right. I tend to, I agree. Tavo, not really. As far as I know, a bug is a bug. Yeah, I would have thought so. Dean Stevenson, yes, the drastic drop as Japanese cars invaded Australia from 66 to 1980. VW made Golfs in Australia, but only as completely knocked down kits. Right, CKDs. Robert Beckler, I've got a 200,000 BTU. Might point at the front end like all the other times. Chavo, okay, off for a while. Okay, mate, we'll be here. Waiting for your return. Jeff Hutchins, we have a bunch of Mexican restaurants here in our fairly small town, owned by real Mexicans. Man, it's good. The supreme nachos at Tony's Tacos are amazing. I have three of their enchiladas waiting. There you go. We get a lot of, I don't know, Tex-Mex, I guess you could call it. Not really authentic Mexican food, certainly up this neck of the woods. But when I lived in Texas, it seemed to be like that too. Dean Stevenson, I have to like my line haul man in Scania as clean as a whistle. Start on the wheels and work my way up. That's a big job, man. Spit, Dean Stevenson, spit lick. You never know where those trucks have been, mate. Mexican spec. Mrs. Spec and I We're at the yard this morning. That is where all the small food places get their ingredients every morning, all fresh daily. Oh, nice. How it should be. You can literally find everything to run a taco place there every morning. Wow. Very cool. Mopar Man, I live in Hollister across the lake from Branson. Our Dollar Generals carry RC Cola and RC Cherry flavour cola. Huh. There you go. Obviously got just a very small chunk of the market. Just certain places have it. Jeff Hutchins, I want a pop. I want Shasta. It's got the taste pizzazz. Some old great taste Shasta has. I want a pop. Oh, he's singing. Good Lord. Shasta commercial from my childhood. Oh, dear. Mexican Spec. Jeff Hutchins, that advert, the commercial work then. It certainly did. He's got it all memorised, isn't he? Okay, you guys are all getting all nostalgic on me. Danny Boyd, soda just wouldn't have the same ring. Steve Sadusky, I remember Shasta. Hang on, I lost my place yet again. There we go. Volfly, this cola talk reminds me of my ideas for a three-party system. When I had three cola choices, I was pretty happy. Maybe if we have three political parties, everyone could be happy except the politicians. Well, yeah, they're the least of our worries, aren't they? They're unhappy. Well, it's tough. Max level. Oddly, cola can remove rust, and a can of Coke can be made into a weak battery. Huh. Kiwi, have you tried Moxie? More like a rite of passage than a drink. I have not tried Moxie, not even heard of it, mate. Jeff Hutchins, our A&W driver, not drive-through, only had Royal Crown cola until a few years ago. Oh, wow. A&W. So they must have the franchise for Royal Crown then, because A&W are a soda, aren't they? Max, if you leave a full Coca-Cola can for enough time, the Coke will eat through the aluminum. It does the same to your stomach. Yeah. Well, here's a story. The Royal Crown Cola, I was friends with a guy who had the New Zealand franchise for it. He was like the New Zealand agent and sold Royal Crown Cola all around New Zealand. And they would they brought it in as concentrate, and then added the water to it and added the fizz to it and all that sort of thing. Carbon dioxide, and they would fly in the regular Coke, like obviously air freight in the concentrate, but the diet version of RC, the airlines wouldn't carry it. They would not fly it, the diet, because if it ever spilt or leaked, supposedly it would eat through the plane. Taking quite a while. I didn't mean just blow through the bottom of the plane. But if it were to leak, they couldn't clean it out effectively enough, and it would eventually corrode the plane. So they wouldn't carry it at all. You had to ship it in by sea. So yeah, there's something to that, Mexican Spec. David Tyree, CF. Not sure what that is. Volfly, the Cola Political Party Parallel might be a good title for a conspiracy book. Oh, Lord. Danny Boyd, co-worker done me wrong and had me try some Moxie once about 25 years ago. Oh, wasn't a good experience by the sound of it. Robert Beckler, I'm getting to read the comments for the first time without glasses. Just got LASIK, having a great time. Oh, very cool. So you're pretty happy with it, huh? That's good. I've thought about having that done, actually. I'm having a little bit of trouble now actually seeing. It was always close up that I needed the glasses for, which is like why I've got them on now. But now it's kind of getting a bit harder to read those road signs on the interstate. The longer distance is fading a little as well. So, yeah. Chris Freemesser, aluminium, aluminum. Aluminium. We add a whole extra syllable to that word. So pop and soda cans are lined with a thin plastic liner so the drink won't eat through the can. Well, they are now, yeah. Buddy Caro, hang on. Buddy Caro Fano, 1635. Did you get the rims for the back of your truck? They're coming, finally. They're supposed to be here soon. Well, the snow will have held them up. But yeah, they were talking about, let me check. I can check. I think it was this month, which is, that's getting a bit low now. This month, there's not a lot of it left. But where did it go? No, not there. Not that one. Hang on. Oh, man, they've moved it again. What are they doing? They've changed it. Oh, no, here we go. Ship date 2nd of February. So, yeah, I should have them by the 10th of February, I would say. So what do we got? I should have them, not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. They should be on the truck, which would be kind of cool at last. So that's the answer to that question. That's pushing a year to get them, which is just nuts. It's just crazy. I think it's like 10 months or something. Actually, what date were they ordered? Yeah, March 10th. I ordered them last year. And now they're going to be delivered about February 10th this year. So that's like 11 months. So, yeah. Now, Mexican specs, maybe now, but I've seen it happen. Yeah, I don't think they used to. I think you're right, Mexican spec, but they used to just be raw aluminum. But because of that corrosion issues, I think they had to go to that plastic liner. So, of course, there's no bad things in plastic, right? Jeff Hutchins, Coke removes battery acid, cleans cable connections really well. Might want to rinse it off when you're done, though. It gets sticky. Yeah, it does. It does. Dean Stevenson, AMI, Kiwi, that's Australian port Melbourne built Toyota. Oh, okay. Assembly by AMC in Australia. Huh. Okay. Wasn't aware of that, man. I was not aware of that. Well, I didn't, I knew they made them there, but I didn't know the names. So there you go. Learn something every day. David Tyree, we have more than 3 parties in New Zealand, and it's a right cocker. That it is. That it is. Vilefly, I miss the A&W root beer restaurants, best chili dogs. That's one thing I can't get into is root beer. That's like, ugh. I do not like root beer. Not good at all. Not for me, anyway. Danny Boyd, I love me some Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex is good, but like true Mexican food is a different beast. Yeah, it's yeah. I would prefer the real deal, like from authentic. Um, I mean, any Mexican's an authentic Mexican. That doesn't really sound right, but like the original Mexican recipes that haven't been tweaked to cater to the American market, the true Mexican. But I'm sure Mexican Speak knows what I'm talking about. David Dory, what about Colombian cake? Yeah, well, from all accounts, that's pretty good too. Mexican Speak, there isn't really authentic Mexican food. Mexican food is different all over the country. Okay. Josh Homan, General Motors used to make completely knocked down kits for other countries. Yeah, it was a pretty common thing. A lot of Japanese cars came into New Zealand completely knocked down. But yeah, the smaller countries, smaller economies, it wasn't worth setting up a whole, making them from raw materials kind of factory. Mopar man, Volflo, we still have one here in Branson, Missouri. I've been to Branson. It's an amazing place. It's a cool place. At the Tanger Mall. There you go. Jeff Hutchins, if you're right about what Coca-Cola does, you stick a nail in some water and watch what happens. Seriously, though, I don't think anyone thinks, what does that say? Thinks pop is good for you. Well, no. Only time I ever drink soda, pop, whatever you want to call it, is with alcohol, which is not that often. It's like a Friday, Saturday thing, Friday night, Saturday night, and Tuesday night. But I just have one on a Tuesday, so that's enough for me. Volfly, I wish I knew how to make chicken Kiev. Breaded chicken wrapped around a seasoned stick of butter. Yep. I'm sure you could figure it out, Volfly. Robert Beckler, I live in Minnesota. No more authentic Mexican restaurants. Don't know why. There you go. Danny Boyd, stuff can live in sulfuric acid on other planets. Maybe it's hydrochloric. So I'm not going to sweat for a few soft drinks. Well, something's got to kill you, doesn't it? I mean, you spend too much time looking after yourself, you won't have time for any fun. Yeah, got lost my place again. Whew. Wow. You guys are rambling on fast. I can't keep up with you guys. There we go. Where was I up to? Here we go. Dean Stevenson. CKD. Completely locked down. Yep. Gene Turner. Tony, I see what you're saying. It's actually Tony, but you're using Gene Turner. I've got a bottle of Coke from the 80s in my cabinet. Yeah, I'd probably just leave it there. I'm not convinced I'd drink it. Josh Homan, real 80s or just looks like it. Yeah, there's a bit of that going on, isn't there? Beagle Bob, I'm going to try in time the spring weather to paint my Julie. After the first time it froze, the paint started falling off the roof. Does anyone have experience with Summit brand paint? Summit brand. Kevin Tates does, and he's probably got a video out on it. But I know he's used it. I have not used it, so I can't help you there. It's kind of weird that the freezing it made the paint come off. That is a bit odd. Robert Beckler only drinks soda with Jack. There you go. I'm with you, bud. That's you and me are on the same page there. Danny Boyd, A&W makes root beer and probably no cola. RC is least likely to try and put them out of business. Well, that's fair. Danny Boyd, independents sticking together. Yeah, well, good on them. Interesting. Mexican spec. Even our Coca-Cola is locally made. Most towns have their own bottling plant. We sure do in our town. Volfly, I wonder what cola nut tastes like. I need to order some just to find out. Yeah, I bet you it's not that good. I bet you it's not that good. Oh, yeah. Dean Stevenson, when a xenomorph suddenly comes out of your rib cage, it won't care if the salad wasn't tossed. Why does the alien producer now live in New Zealand? Yeah, I don't know. Why does the alien producer now live in New Zealand? Danny Boyd, Moxie is awful, like club soda with a hint of ginger. Ooh. Yeah, that doesn't sound very appealing. Mopar Man, I did a YouTube short and regular video of me starting up my D150 225 slant 6. It's been sitting for several days and nights and temperatures from 34 to 5. Wow. It's cold. I bet it started up pretty well though, did it? I haven't seen the video. Oh, David Torrey, 2373 Celsius Fahrenheit. Okay. Yep. Sorry, I thought you were talking about nighttime to daytime temperature swing. Volfly, caffeine is bitter also. Yes, it is. Yeah. Okay. I used to add quite a bit. I'd have 3 sugars in my coffees. I don't have any sugar in it anymore. Kind of got quite used to it. And put any sugar in my coffee now, it tastes terribly sweet. Amazing what you get used to. Robert Beckler, they can fix distance sight better than up close, it seems. $4,000 with change. Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's not too bad, really. If you haven't got it, it's a lot. But $4,000, I mean, you'd want the guy to be fairly good. You're like cutting on your eyeballs. So you kind of got to pay, don't you? Beagle Bob, I think there are 2 eye surgery, LASIK and PRK. One cuts a flat on the eyeball, the other scrubs down the cornea. I don't think you can do scuba or skydiving with the one that cuts flaps. Oh, wow, really? I had no idea. Skydiving, wow. Volfly, take my coffee blonde and super sweet. Is that like the wife, is it, mate? Mexican spec. I'm going to stick with glasses. I've heard too many horror stories. Oh, really? No, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Mopar and coffee gets everything moving. Yes, it does have that effect. Volfly prefers no eye surgery on his compound eyes. No, that would be a challenge, wouldn't it? Dean Stevenson, the I in aluminum was injected by the English. Look at the back of a BMW 323i. English marker ones had eyes. Huh. Mexicans speak. There are bad doctors out there. Oh, hell yeah, there are. Yeah. Just like bad mechanics, bad body guys, bad doctors. They're no better and worse than the rest of us. Chris Freemus, I work for vision scientists, some very prominent in their field. They don't get LASIK, and I take that as a sign not to. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Danny Boyd, I love the endorphin rush from that first sip and a cup of coffee, but I didn't like the anxiety when followed by pot and UTIs. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, that's an interesting combination. Beagle Bob, I think the healthiest beverage container is glass with a cork. Yes, well, I've got a couple of bourbon bottles like that, so clearly they're very healthy. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Mexican speak. That reminds me of the guys I knew in the cremation business that wanted to be buried and vice versa. Chris Freemasser, the flavour. Yeah, O-U-R. That's the correct way to spell it, Chris, with a U in it. Of root beer varies a lot depending on the brand. Yeah, I haven't had one that I like, but I don't go around trying them all. So I just tried a couple and don't like them, and that's it. I'm out. Paul Funk, root beer tastes like cough medicine. I agree. Volfly, be right back. Hunting foodstuffs to cook with. There you go. Danny Boyd, there's a mortuary school near here, I think. Ugh, imagine that for a career choice. Good Lord. No, I can't. No, that I can't. Yeah, I can't wrap my head around that one. Mopar, man. Mexican speak. Drink some chamomile tea with a little bit of honey and a little bit of lemon. I tell you what, mate, if you can find some, get some Manuka honey, which is a product of New Zealand. New Zealand's the only place that make it, and it's not hard to find here in the States. Manuka honey has some very good stuff in it that regular honey doesn't have, and it's because of the trees trees and plants that they gather the honey from. But Manuka honey is like really good when you've got a cold, flu, upset stomach, all that kind of stuff. There's something in it. Don't ask me what it is. I don't know, but Manuka honey is well known for its healing properties across all sorts of issues. Not big major ones, but yeah, those flus, colds, upset stomachs, all that sort of stuff. Really, it does work, and it's worth paying that. It is a bit expensive, but it's worth it. And it's. I'm not quick to say that. My wife's always buying lots of organic food, and and I'm just get the regular stuff. It'll be fine. But Manuka honey, yeah, I'm all about that. It just costs what it costs, and get it. Barracuda. The first time I had Coca-Cola, I was 9 with Mum on the Silver Star luxury train in the North Island. I didn't like the Coke then. Remember that train? I do kind of vaguely remember it. Yeah, I do. But sort of yes and no. I do. The name rings a bell, but I can't put a picture to it. So it's a very distant, almost gone memory. Beagle Bob, did anyone else choose sassafras root growing up? I can safely say that I never did. No. Dean Stevenson, Bundaberg and Coke. Bundaberg. That was used to be one of my favourite drops. That Bundaberg rum. Yeah, Aussies do love it. A lot of Kiwis love it too. Yeah. I tell you, the other thing that Bundaberg make is ginger beer. That's really nice, and I don't really like. I'm not a big fan of ginger, but the Bundaberg ginger beer. If you ever see that around places like Whole Foods have it, World Market, places like that here in the States have the Bundaberg ginger beer, and that's actually pretty good stuff. Mexican speak. I hate tea in all forms. I hate the taste, even with sugar. Yeah, I'm with you, Mexican speak. Tea is bleh. I do not like it at all. I drink a lot of it here in the States, so iced tea particularly, not so much hot tea, but they're very big on the iced tea here in the States. And no, not a fan at all. Robert Meyer, they're still on A&W here in Minnesota, Pine City, an actual drive-in. Huh. Amazing what's dotted around the country, isn't it? Danny Boyd, cremate me and then allow my ashes to be inhaled through an engine. But what brand of engine, Danny Boyd? That's the question that everyone wants the answer to, is what kind of engine? Like your final journey is going to be through a Mopar, a Ford, a Ferrari? Like, well, what's it going to be? Chevy? Can't imagine too many Ferrari owners wanting the ashes going through their engine. That's the only thing. Robert Becker, there are a lot of different parties in the States. They just have to claim being one of the two. Yeah, well, that's some truth to that. Mopar man, Kiwi, you should try some Sioux City Sarsaparilla soda pop. Good Lord, say that when you've had a few drinks. Sioux City Sarsaparilla soda pop. Whew. Yeah, that's going to get more challenging as the evening wears on. Mexican speak. Why do you think the guys that did that for a living don't want that done? Yeah, you got to wonder, don't you? Dean Stevenson, my mother wondered why I asked for a plastic ruler and a straw. Barracuda, the guy at the disco wanted some Coke. There you go. Mexican spec. Barracuda, just got my medicines on the road to recovery. I think I'm getting a bit of a cold again as well, which is annoying. Got a bit of a sore throat going on. Mopar man, pinch the top of your nose and drink it. You won't taste it. Oh, I don't know. I think I might. Oh. Now, Mexican spec. Adios, all. I have to take off. Thanks for joining us, Mexican spec. As good as always. I need to turn the notifications for when you're on, for when you're live on. I'm assuming I haven't got the notifications turned on because I don't usually get notified unless you message me. So I'm going to try doing that if I remember, which is 50-50 with my memory. Yeah, where are we up to? Paul Funk, my mum's traditional Mexican cooking is nothing like what you get in a restaurant. That's kind of what I'd heard too, and what I've experienced really. I haven't been to that many authentic Mexican restaurants. You just don't see them that often, but yeah. Mexicans speak, the dream about being cremated alive is always there. Oh, that's a grim thought, isn't it? Mexicans speak. The fact is, when they die, it doesn't matter what happens to the body. Not really. No. It becomes an empty vessel, doesn't it? Dean Stevens, if you've eaten the right Mexican food and drink, it will preserve you and spirit you to the afterlife. Good Lord. Danny Boyd, you can't have a sense of taste without a sense of smell. You lose one, then you also lose the other. Really? Did not know that. Mexican spit. I won't drink it anyway. I don't feel good after drinking it. My wife tries to get me to drink it too. Yeah. Paul Funk, my ancestors are traced back to a town called Guadalupita, New Mexico, middle 1800s. That's as far as we got with the research. Oh, wow. Guadalupita. Mexican speak, so it's new Mexican cooking. Well. Robert Beckler, anyone has any info on these $20 a set ball joints from LMC? Oh, that sounds very cheap, doesn't it? Wow, I've not heard of those. $20 for a set, like as in a set of 4, Robert. Wow. If that's $20 for a set of 4, I would not be buying those. That means they left the factory wherever they made at about 50 cents each. Yeah, that's a... No, I'm out. I would not... If that... No. Too critical to the suspension. One of those ball joints lets go and that's it. It's a major problem. Dan's Garage, missing jack up here in Ontario. Oh, yeah, not bringing it in anymore, are they? They've stopped importing it. Yeah, I heard it. My wife was actually, Mrs. K was telling me about that. They've stopped, Canada stopped bringing in Jack Daniels. Mexican speaker, I guess that was old Mexico at the time. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. Dean Stevenson, they work when you fit them. They don't last long. Robert Becker, $20 is $20. Yeah, it's just too cheap. And they're not the easiest things to install. I mean, it's not really hard, but, it's a little bit of time involved, So, yeah, I'd get some good quality ones. Fly clings to 2 cilantro lime frozen burritos. Cook free tonight. There we go. Jeff Hutchins, I'm an organ donor and the rest to science. As long as I'm actually dead, they can use my body for something useful. or to make someone else's life better. The rest of my family thinks I'm nuts. Yeah, well, I mean, that organ donor thing, because my son's in medical college, and a few months back, they were doing their cadaver studies. So they all had a cadaver each, and they slowly, and that's part of being an organ donor. They really do use everything, and I mean it's good because it's how they learn, like hands on. But yeah, he said it was pretty hard. He said, when they were like exploring a knee joint, they'd have the cadaver or the body draped, so they just saw the knee. So you were fairly, this is according to him, not me, but that's what he was telling me, you were fairly removed from it's not the being, the person, because it's not the person anymore, but the body. He said, but when they actually then started to dissect the face, which they do, they go through all the muscles and how the nasal cavities work and how your ears and everything and all that stuff link up together. And he said that was pretty freaky when you actually start peeling back the layers of someone's face. And he said that was quite a tough one to deal with. So, something to think about, isn't it? As an organ donor. Beagle Bob, Robert Beckler, I would go with the Dana ball joints. My F350 will get Dana when needed. Well, there you go. Good recommendation. Chris Freemesser, dude. One of the doctors at work had me help him make a PowerPoint presentation with pics of all the failed LASIK surgeries he had to fix. Enough that I'd never consider getting it. Oh, wow. Wow. So, Chris, would you let him do LASIK surgery on you, seeing as he's fixed a lot of failed ones? I gather he's fairly good at it. Would that be a consideration, or are you still just out? Paul Funk, I've been to the town and found ancestors buried at the Catholic cemetery there. Wow, that's kind of cool. Robert Becker, point taken, thanks. Yeah, sorry to kind of beat down on you there, Robert, but yeah, we're just, just trying to look out for you, but honestly, hopefully we didn't come down too hard. Dean Stevenson, it turns out your eye cornea into a finite element lotus, no real thickness for a big shunt. Okay, I don't know what that means. That turns your eye cornea into a finite element lotus, no real thickness for a bug shunt. Pass. Oh, okay. Beagle Bob. I should say OE. I don't know if that is Dana. Yeah, well, the OE stuff can be fairly, is often pretty good. I know I went through 2 water pumps on my 6.7 diesel on my Cummins, 2 aftermarket water pumps, and they both failed in way too short a time. And I just paid triple the price and got a Mopar one, and it was still going when I sold the truck. So I got 100,000 out of 120 out of the factory one. Started weeping. They got 2 aftermarkets, and they did about 15,000 miles, 15,000 miles each, and both not leaking, failed like badly. And I'm like, the first one they replaced under warranty because it was less than 12 months. And then the second one they supplied me just failed as well. And I'm like, you can have it back, and I don't want a replacement. And went to Mopar and got one. But yeah, it was about 3.5 times the price. But, how many times are you going to replace a cheap one before you go, that really wasn't worth it? Dean Stevenson, yeah, the Brits added the MI5, MI6, tried to copy the CIA. Incidentally, the West Germans had a BMW 728IA. They missed CIA, they missed the C. Oh, good Lord. Paul Funk, I have no idea about the town. I was there with my parents around 1980. I was 13 at the time. Okay. That'd be cool seeing ancestors from that long ago, though. That would be pretty cool. Jeff Hutchins, my smell and taste is still diminished 5 to 6 years after getting COVID. Wow. That means it messes with your brain. That's the scary part. Not starting a COVID rant, no politics, just an observation experience. Yes, I've heard that several times. That whole losing your taste and smell is actually it's a brain issue, not the little not neurons, but the sensors that do the smelling and tasting. The parts in your nose and on your tongue that do the tasting. That's not what gets damaged by COVID. It's actually your brain, which, as you say, is pretty scary. Thankfully, it's kind of all but disappeared now, really. Still around, yeah, but nothing like it was. Mopar Man, I also installed one of those engine block heater pump kits from Cat that plumbs into the side of the block and a 5/8 heater hose on my Slant 6. Haven't used it yet. It plugs into an extension cord. So it heats the water. Okay. I've seen some heater ones that go in the oil and actually heat the oil. But it makes sense they would do it in the water system as well. I remember watching a program on Alaska. The guy was like living out kind of in the bush in Alaska, but he had a plane. He was a young guy and I can't remember the name of the show, but he had a plane, just a light plane. And to get it ready to fly, he would actually build a fire underneath the engine. Because, the underside of the nose cone on the engine was probably 4 foot off the ground, ish. He actually had to light a fire under it to and let it burn for like a few hours, and it would just warm, the plane up. The whole nose of the plane would get warm from the fire directly under it before it would start. So, but yeah, that was like just snow up to your bloody armpits kind of deal. It was cold. Mate, I'll have to look it up, mate. You did a video on it. Yeah, I'll have to have a look. Robert Becker, it's a 78 Beagle, just looking while listening to Kiwi. There you go. Where are we up to here? Let's keep going. Driveway of Misfits. Well, if you should come across Sanarak root beer, give it a try. Best I've had so far. Okay, Sanarak. Okay. On your recommendation, I will give it a try, but I'm not optimistic, but I'll try. Mexican spec. My wife is the same, but it is what it is. Yes. Beagle Bob, the paint peeling is a bit odd to me as well. The primer is fine. I have a picture of the top coat peeling up. Some has been redone, but I think the factory is what's peeling. Oh, wow. Dean Stevenson, Manuka honey has to incur a 15% tariff when imported. Yeah, it does. Barracuda. I remember in the early 70s, you couldn't get Coke south of Christchurch. If you wanted something to Dunedin, you could get it at the railway bus station. They bought a few bottles down from Christchurch. Good Lord. In the 70s. But yeah, New Zealand was such a different place in the 70s. You had to live there at that time. Yeah, and like there, the further down the South Island you got, the more isolated and the isolated probably sounds a little strong, but New Zealand was a very small population in the 70s too, and very isolated worldwide. Because of it was well before the internet. So yeah, it was kind of a different place to live in New Zealand in the 70s, and lower South Island, that was different again. Volfly, the Greek psychoactive honey, is something I want to try. Psychoactive, that sounds a bit magic mushroom-ish to me. Am I picking up correctly on that? Psychoactive. Is it like a little bit hallucinogenic or something, is it? Beagle Bob, sassafras is one of the major flavours of root beer. I don't think I'd like sassafras. Danny Boy, definitely a V8 or a 671 Detroit diesel. There you go. Andy Nickel, Briggs and Stratton. Oh, that'd be a miserable way to go, wouldn't it? Definitely be a V8. Yeah. See, for me, it'd be easy. I'll just get them to blast it through the KSV 9000 if it's still in the family, which I suspect it will be. But yeah, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. David Tyrone, Nelson Breweries had the Coke license for New Zealand up until they sold it to Balins in the late 60s. Okay, there you go. Barracuda on the Silver Star. Now, that's a name I remember better, the Silver Star. Sure, man, I'm way behind. Stephen Carter, oh, you're in the room. Hey, welcome along, bud. Firefly, I hated tea until I realised it was Lipton tea. Then I hated beyond all reason. Okay, there's more to that story than you're letting on. Stephen Carter enjoyed the Borgeson 66 steering box swap. Oh, good, man. Thank you. It was a little bit of editing. There was lots of little pieces of video. But yeah, I just tried to pack it with a bit more detail, which I felt like I'd been lacking a little bit lately. So yeah, kind of went the other way and put lots of detail in it. Barracuda, I've never put sugar in tea. It's horrible. Tea's horrible anyway. So sugar just tastes horrible and sweet. Danny Boyd, I'll take a car apart, but I ain't taking no living or dead organism apart ever. Yeah, I'm with you, man. No, I wouldn't have the stomach for it. No. Barracuda, I'm refined. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Well, I'm not pacing myself very well. I'm running out of bourbon here. Robert Bickler, by the time I die, I'm guessing Russ will have taken out most of my carcass. Possibly, yes. Jeff Hutchins, Kiwi, that's why I can never be a doctor. I'm a hunter, can cut up an animal, but not a human. Glad there are people that can be doctors, though. Yeah, yeah. And I tell you what, it's he's learning some stuff. The way he talking to him now, the way he's taught, he's only a year into medical college, but I mean, obviously he's been working towards the medical college with what he's been doing at university and stuff in college. But yeah, some of the stuff he talks about is like, what the hell did you just say? Like, he's gone from being like, in the space of a year, conversations have gone from being able to kind of understand what he means when he's talking about, medical stuff, to now it's like the words and terms and the way he's explaining stuff. It's like, okay, you lost me completely, and it's like, wow, he's either bullshitting or he actually knows his stuff. He's still got a lot to learn, obviously, but yeah, it's been impressive for me anyway. Just listening to him talk about his studies and what they're doing and what quite amazing. So, but my goodness, it's costing a lot of money. Chris Freeman said, yes, if I had to get LASIK, then yes, I would want that particular doctor to do it. Fair enough, too. It's nice being in the know, having an inside line as to, because they all say they're the best, and they'll all, bring up Google reviews to say how wonderful and blah, blah, blah. But Mrs. Kiwi's in the medical field as well. And yeah, she has a few interesting stories to tell, yes, which I can't go into. But yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure you know exactly what I mean, Chris. Mopar man, I use sugar in the raw since I have alpha gal. Some regular sugars are processed using bone char, so I can't have any mammal-based products, otherwise an allergic reaction. Wow. Can't have any mammal-based products. Well, that sucks. No medium rare T-bones for you then, I guess. Wow. That would I wouldn't like that. I have to be honest with you, man. I feel bad for you. Danny Boyd, I like that frozen wild caught roughy and swordfish. The grouper I didn't like as much. Volfly, what's grouper like? Danny Boyd, the grouper just didn't have a good taste. I don't think I've had grouper myself. Barracuda, hearing about so many poor quality parts these days, I've heard not even Moog parts aren't the quality they used to be. I hope that's not right. Yeah, I mean, I think it probably is right, to be honest. Everyone's just so busy cost cutting and just making parts as cheap as they can, because there's the trouble with the consumer is, and we really aren't, if I put myself in that same category as like most of us were consumers, we're all guilty of wanting more for less. And that's reasonable to a point, but we've gone past that point and we just kept on going. Now we're wanting a whole lot for almost nothing, and it's starting to bite us back. Our washing machine took a dump a couple of months back, and talking to the guy at Best Buy, he says, "Oh, yeah, 3 to 5 years is it for a washing machine." 3. That's barely out of warranty, really. Vilefly Moogers lesser than they used to be. Yeah, I think you're right, Vilefly. Danny Boyd, I want to say gamey, but I don't know what that's really like either. Yeah, one thing about gamey fish or fishy fish is never good. Josh Homan, almost everything is lesser than it used to be. Well, I know I am, so again, as you say, everything, isn't it? Vilefly requires spices, got it. Yeah. Barracuda. In New Zealand, we call them groper. Yes. Not grouper. Funny, isn't it? What they it's funny with the whole American English language. Like a lot of words they take the U out of. But yeah, grouper, they added a U into it. Mopar Man, we get good quality flash frozen fish and the seafood in bulk from Costco. A big bag of skinless salmon steaks, $31.99. That's not bad. Jenny Boyd, I used some garlic, black pepper, seasoned salt, lemon juice, and a little olive oil. Wow. Very fancy. Yeah. Got a little bit of an undercover cook going on here. You might be there competing with Vilefly. Vilefly, Costco is pretty good quality. I get the salmon and steelhead trout there. Yeah, we get a little bit of seafood from Costco. Granddad's junk. Hey man, how you doing? G'day. What does he say? G'day, Kiwi brother. Just got home. Yeah, that sounds about right. How you doing, man? Good to have you here. David Tyree, light a fire under it to get it going. Sounds like politicians. Ain't that the truth, man? Ain't that the truth? Jeff Hutchins, we had to build a campfire under the oil pan on my uncle's new 8973 diesel when elk hunting back then. Back in 89, wow, it would not start. No, the diesel doesn't want to ignite. Really, is what it comes down to. Vilefly, I don't really get cod. I need to try it for day. Cod's pretty nice, actually. Danny Boyd, thought about joining Costco, but they have a really small fridge and freezer and not much cabinet space. Yeah, that's the trouble with Costco. You got to buy a lot of whatever it is you buy, especially to make it worthwhile. Barracuda, where do the parts for race cars come from? Such as NASCAR, they can't use poor quality. No, they don't. They don't. That's a pretty good question, actually. I don't know what they use. I don't know what they use. Just thinking, like on the rally stuff, they have, the suspension components they use are just not anything. I don't think you'd be able to buy those. They might be made by one of the suspension companies, but they'll be unobtainium, metals that don't break and would be wildly expensive, I would think. Chris Freeman said, Danny Boyd, it's cheaper to buy a Costco membership and an interstate car battery there than to buy the battery at an auto parts store. Huh. Never thought of doing it that way. Interesting. It's an interesting way of looking at it, Chris. Firefly, you need a deep freeze for Costco shopping. The $7 rotisserie chicken is a steal. It really is. Robert Beckley, yep. Dana's are $101 from Summit. That does sound less sketchy. Yeah. And I always figured, like, maybe you are paying a little bit for the name, but, you're also paying some for the better quality. So, yeah, sometimes you just, you are going to have to pay for the name a little bit, but, they got a good product, so they can do that, But I'd rather do that than replace the ball joints 3 times. Danny Boyd's Barracuda from the OEMs in some cases and from established aftermarket and also from small operations run by former drivers and crew, such as Ron Hornaday's seats. Okay. I did not know he was making seats. But yeah, that whole racing industry is a different, it's different from, broadcast stuff. A lot of the time it's got to be a lot stronger. Not so much the longevity, but just stronger for taking hits. And the G-forces, the extended amount of time with the G-forces. You think of how hard those NASCARs are going around those bank turns. 200 mile an hour and not lifting off around a turn. The load on the tyres is phenomenal, but the load on everything connecting the tyres to the chassis, everything in between takes a huge load. Huge, like bigger than most people appreciate. Yeah. Jeff Hutchins, Barracuda, a lot of our politicians here are also called gropers. Good Lord. Sad but true. Granddad's junk, all that snow is finished. For now. They were forecasting some more for next week, but that seems to have dropped off the radar, the weather radar. But so for now, just it's just slowly melting away. Danny Boy, I believe that my ma belongs and always gets tyres there. Yeah, they're pretty much the cheapest for tyres. Them and Discount Tyre. There you go. Wow, it was way back up here. Here we go. I need to catch up. I need to skip through a few. Volflow, rhododendron. Rhododendron honey is psychoactive honey. It's the first thing to bloom in early spring. Barracuda, I preferred New Zealand the way it was back then. Yeah, it was a quieter pace. New Zealand's really caught up with the rest of the world now. In the 70s, it was a little sleepy, but that's, looking back, it wasn't such a bad thing. They used to say go to New Zealand and turn your, like as you travel different countries, you've got to adjust your clocks and time zones. You change your clock. They used to say, go to New Zealand and turn your clock back 20 years, and there was some truth to that. But yeah, looking back now, so that wasn't such a bad thing. Granddad's junk. You're right, Barracuda. Way back when the whole city and town closed for 2 weeks during Christmas. Yeah, and it was just that was a good time to recharge and chill and catch up with loved ones. And 2 weeks was nice. Now it's the shops are closed Christmas Day and they're back at it the next day. Garth Harris, Kiwi, what's the real cost of a V904 in the USA ballpark? V904, 904, automatic transmission, 904? Like, I'm not sure what you're asking me there, but V904. Give me a little bit more info, bud. Mopar man, if you can't find that block antifreeze heater pump kit online, AutoZone sells the kit, but AutoZone marks up everything worse than O'Reilly's. Yeah. Just don't need one here, bud. But thank you anyway. But this doesn't get cold enough. Robert Beckler, my buddy went to New Zealand with his girlfriend around 15 years ago. They gave him the boot after he was there for a while. Visa ran out. One way to break out. Well, yes. Yeah, I wonder if he did that on purpose or not. Granddad's showing it's cold when the ice cream doesn't thaw out. Mate, we were having here when it gets to, I think the lowest we had was about 7 degrees, and that's, I'm not sure what that is in Celsius, but it was that's a lot colder than the inside of my freezer. So yes, you could put your ice cream in the freezer to warm it up a bit. It sounds very weird when you talk about it like that. Beagle Bob, I go with the cheapest Walmart batteries. Oh, really? How's that worked out for you? With all the batteries I've sold, I've found the best ones to be the Ford, the Motorcraft batteries. I had 2 of them in my Dodge truck because I got tired of getting 18 months to 2 years out of the batteries in my Dodge truck. You'd get the one with the 3-year warranty, and they'd go almost 3 years maybe. And I put some Motorcraft ones in there, and I put them in a number of customer cars. Probably I kind of started out doing that because a lot of the Mustangs we work on, it's kind of good to put a Motorcraft battery in there. It kind of looks the part if you're not going to go with Optima or something. But just had a golden run with them, and I put them in the Dodge, and they lasted for years, and they were still going when I sold it. But all the other brands I tried, they would make it to the warranty, and barely, if at all, and you needed to get new ones. and it's a diminishing warranty. So if you're 2 years and 10 months into a 3-year warranty, you don't get jack shit back for the under warranty money wise. Barracuda, everyone had the whole weekend off except for petrol stations and some dairies. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Certainly no one worked on a Sunday. And I remember my old man, he was selling cars in the 70s. I think it was the 70s. Might have been 80s, actually. But they would work Saturday morning selling cars, and that was it. And they were one of the few places open on a Saturday morning. Yeah, which was good. You got a day or a day and a half, 2 days with your family, and that's not that's a good thing. The work-life balance was good back then. Granddad's junk. Where's Todd? We think he's either had surgery today or yesterday. He had some surgery, so he's not been in tonight, Granddad. He has got his marlin though. He's had it delivered, so he's got his hot little hands on it. So I think he's just trying to get himself well enough to get out there and do a bit to it. Jeff Hutchins, Beagle Bob. I'm also a cheapest Walmart battery convert. Okay. I'll be honest, I haven't tried, so I guess I shouldn't knock it till I've tried it, right? Last Walmart battery I got was an Everstart. Oh, yeah. Ooh, it was well over $100. Yeah, batteries aren't cheap anymore. Mopar Man, I'm limited on buying Costco since I have Alpha Gal. What we can't buy there or in bulk, we get at Walmart Supercenter, like the great value turkey bacon, pastrami without all the black pepper. Huh. Danny Boyd, I think my ma used to grow rhododendrons. You have to know how to even read that word, don't you? Rhododendrons. Right? Yeah, I mean, I recognise the whole word. It's not a word that's easy to read. Chris Freemaster, Granddad's junk. It's not that cold for needing an engine block heater, but I take it easy on the car for the first few miles. Yeah, as you should. Got to get some temperature in that oil, man. Oil needs to be hot. Beagle Bob, going to get an Everstart soon. Group 65 is $85. Okay. Well, that's a hell of a lot less than a motorcraft battery, I can tell you that, because I buy them like from the wholesaler and they're, I think, $190. That's like a wholesale price. David Torrey, if you want to hear some hair cooling stories, get cops and undertakers together. Ugh. Let's just say the average Joe would be horrified, I'll bet. My brother-in-law actually used to be a cop, and now actually he's not an undertaker, but he works for an undertaking company, like a big company, and he's their like health and safety officer. So he doesn't do any of the undertaking, but that's kind of the industry he works in now. Yeah, and he's and under no circumstances is he getting buried. He says, cremate me 100%. He's seen the embalming process, and he says, he's like, no way at all. No way would he be embalmed. He reckons that's pretty horrific. Barracuda, and I can remember in the early 70s you couldn't get a hamburger in Dunedin and certainly no pizza, just fish and chips. Oh, Lord. Isn't that hard to believe? But I mean, I can remember being a kid and I'm not sure how old I was. Um, Probably around 10-ish. So, yeah, 54 years ago, whatever that works out at. And we lived in Taranaki, which was then about 6 hours drive from the big city of Auckland. And they got the first McDonald's there, and we were all very excited about that and waiting to go there for a holiday at some point so we could try this magical stuff called McDonald's, because we'd heard about it, seen adverts for it and seen, McDonald's places on American television programs and stuff like that, but never eaten it. And that was a big deal, going to McDonald's in Auckland City, the one and only McDonald's restaurant in New Zealand at that time. Now they're everywhere, but that's how sleepy New Zealand was. And yeah, I mean, at that same time, down in Dunedin, which is the bottom of the country, or towards the bottom of the country, they're like just fish and chips, nothing fancy like pizza was. That was an upmarket restaurant, a pizza joint. Granny's joke that engine oil would resemble golden syrup. Very much, yes. And not warm golden syrup either. Volfly, my retirement plan is going to be beekeeping and mead. Maybe a field of rhododendrons might be involved. Andy Nickel, there's nothing like good English tea, not the crap in tea bags. Good and strong with a bit of milk, no sugar, lovely. I drink a large tea every night, not too late or I don't sleep. Yeah, there's a bit of caffeine in tea, isn't there? Granddad's junk Chris Freemason changed my oil in my car last week, 5W40. Surprisingly thick. Temperature has a lot to do with it, man. Jeff Hutchins, I'm friends with a bunch of cops. When they let their hair down around civilians, they have been forced by the job into a different sense of humour. Comes with the job. Oh, absolutely. No, that's being a cop is a lifestyle choice, not a career. Well, obviously it is a career choice, but what comes with it is a lifestyle choice. And that's what my brother-in-law got out. It wasn't for him. I think he was only in for about 5 years, and he'd had enough. It just wasn't him, Volfly cop parties are completely unhinged but fun. Yeah. David Tyree, my dad was a cop. I grew up with it. Oh, yeah, you would know. Yep, you've seen it. Driveway of misfits. Yeah, had it outside. I don't normally change oil in the winter, so I didn't think to store it inside the house beforehand. Yeah, it gets thick when it's cold. Robert Beckler, I've worked for a lot of cops. Nothing like driving down a country road, drinking a beer in a cop car. Oh, really? Wow. Different set of rules, huh? I'm doing good. Granddad's junk, I'm doing good. Just cruising the Nissan van. Won't idle. Maybe a sense of playing up. Typically Jappa plastic. Yeah. Barry Cooter, friend of mine is a gentle Annie. Well, that's an old name. It's a blast from the past. Yeah, washing machine from the 80s. There you go. That still works fine. Mine is an old Simpson about the same age. Worked great, touching wood. Yeah, well, I mean, just make the most of it while you can, mate, because once they give up, you're not going to get any parts around for them anymore. But yeah, I mean, you used to be able to get 30 years out of a washing machine was just not ridiculous. They'd usually be owned 2 or 3 times by then, but now, no, different world. Danny Boyd, I've drank beer in a long before decommissioned cop car, a 78-ish Nova. Good Lord. Yeah, what do we got here? Oh, now we're really out of time. A little distracted tonight. Just learned my eldest brother is in the hospital. He fell and wasn't able to get up. Nothing broken, but he's in a lot of pain. So I'm hoping he'll be okay. Well, yeah. Well, it's not good news, Andy, but yeah, I'm not surprised you're distracted. But that it's falling is a problem as you get older. I don't know what age he is, being your eldest brother. Obviously, he's older than you. But yeah, I was in physio with one of my knees a while back, and a friend of mine who's just turned 80, an old boy that comes in the shop quite regularly. He's a good old dude, but he's had a few falls. And I was talking to my physiotherapist and said, "What's the deal with all these older people falling? Like, why is that? What's it about?" And she said, "Well, it's a threefold thing that makes people fall, and it's obviously to do with age. But your hearing becomes impaired, and that's where you get a lot of your balance from. So that is part of the equation." She said the vision is another thing. You lose your depth perception as your eyes fade or start to fail. So you lose that depth perception, and the glasses help you focus, but they don't really help you with your depth perception. In fact, it can be a bit misleading. And then the other thing is your joints, like your knee joints and your ankle joints, stuff like that. They have a lot of nerve endings in them, and so what happens is that with arthritis and just old age, your knees are constantly correcting you, and you don't even know it. Like, you do make conscious adjustments with your knees on, sometimes when you're standing, but there's an awful lot going on there that is at a subconscious level, and the arthritis just kills those nerve endings off, and they don't correct, and you're on the way to falling before that the nerve endings get enough information to try and correct. I think that's basically what she was explaining to me. But yeah, it's so you got 3 things going against you as you hit those older years. And if you've had a knee replacement, those nerve endings are gone in the cartilage and stuff like that. So you don't adjust, all those little fine adjustments, say that you're not even aware of. You're not consciously doing it. Your body is doing it at a subconscious level, and that's where it goes wrong. That's why old people fall over. And that old saying, "I've fallen and I can't get up." Yeah, it's a reality. So yeah, best wishes for him. I hope he gets better. I hope he's feeling better soon. But yeah, it's not the call you want to get. Mopar man, yeah, it sucks because I miss steaks, barbecue, burgers, etc. All because of a tick bite. Oh wow, really? Oh, wow. Wow, that really sucks. I didn't realise a tick bite could do that. We're not something we don't have in New Zealand as ticks, so I don't haven't kind of run into the issue. Vilefly, ouch, Andy, sounds like he messed up his back, quite possibly, or hips. Hips are one of the ones that get damaged pretty quickly. Stephen, Small Engines. Hello, everybody. Stephen, you've come in a little late, bud. But you were probably made that comment a few minutes ago. But all right, we've got we're actually out of time, 9 minutes. Danny boy, Jeff Hutchins. I'm taking a break from drinking because of the falling. Oh, wow. Okay. Andy Nickel. In winter, I don't move till the temperature gauge moves. In summer, I warm it up at least 1 minute. Brother is 82. Yeah, he's at that age. Yeah, he's just not, as that balance is just compromised by those three things, and it makes it hard. Jeff Hutchins, when you're old and full, things break and bruise easier. Absolutely. Robert Becker, Kiwi is cheering me up now. Oh, dear. Barracuda in the 80s, there was a little private burger shop in Dunedin, Beston Town, but they closed when it was found out an employee was adding something of his to the coleslaw. Ugh. Ugh. Jeff Hutchins, I'm only in my early 50s and I notice it hurts more when I fall now. Yeah. Have you started, like, whenever you sit down and get up, you make noises now? Like, like, yeah, you start to make the involuntary noises when you're moving around, and it sucks. Tavo got about half an hour chat to catch up on, mate. Well, I'm glad you're back, but yeah. Beagle Bob, it's not the age, it's the miles. Well, that's part of it too. Andy Nickel, bone loss, yeah. All right, guys. Well, Robert Becker, that man sounds like I'm lucky not breaking anything. Yeah, breaking bones is a young man's sport. I tell you that. It's a young man's sport. You don't want to be doing it north of 30, really, if we're honest. But yeah, I think most of us on here on this chat are north of 30. I know I am. So yeah, Chavo, in my late teens, I'd fly off a motocross bike at 50, bounce, get up and go again. Now I trip on the stair and call an ambulance. Yes. Yeah. Oh, how things change. All right, fellas. Well, that's it. I'm done. Thank you all again for all your input. I these days I'm starting to feel more like a spectator on these lives. But you guys are just so busy chatting, but it's good to watch and good to be part of. I'm just kind of the lucky one who gets to talk as well. So, but yeah, glad you all enjoy it. I know I do. Yeah, thanks a lot. And I guess I will see you here next Tuesday. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit warmer and we'll have a bit more car stuff to report on. All right, fellas, I will see you next week. Take care of each other, eh? Bye.